Swami Hari Priye. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Dhyakunena Tusharahara Javala, Yashubhravastavrita, Yavina Varadam Damantitakara, Yashvetapadmasana, Yabrahmachita Shankara Pravitivi, Devi Sada Pandita, Samam Pantu Saraswati Bhagavati, Buddhi Pradam Sharade, Buddhi Pradam Sharade.
There you live. ¿Tienen preguntas? Okay. My Portuguese is not really good. Like if you understand a little bit of Portuguese, you probably understand Portuguese, my Portuguese. I make it up more than I really speak. Just invent some words which sound like what they probably should be. Mostly people understand. We can also speak English. ¿Qué no percebe inglés? Uno? You don't understand English? No, I understand. I asked them who doesn't speak English, who doesn't understand English. So, ¿qué no percebe inglés? Vas a aprender, ¿cierto? Número uno. ¿Qué más? ¿Todos perciben inglés? Hindi. Hindi बोलते हैं नहीं. I have to practice a little bit more to make up Hindi so that you understand. Har din Torah sikha ha hehu, something like that. Where are you from? From India? Where from India? Yes. Where?
Haryana.
Haryana.
Yeah. Haryana.
Haryana.
Yeah.
Near?
Kurukshetra.
Kurukshetra. Understand. Do you live in Portugal?
Yes.
Since how long?
Almost 4.5 years.
4.5 years.
Yeah.
He's residing here from last 8 years.
Sorry?
7 to 8 years.
7 to 8 years. I saw you already, no? We met already, I think. Like your face at least looks very familiar.
Yes. We was in Lisbon Airport.
Lisbon Airport.
Yes.
Okay, so anybody has a question?
How can we avoid judging people, seeing their negative side and judging them?
How you can stop? How can you avoid judging people?
Yeah, judging their negative side and always seeing what they're doing wrong.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so how to avoid to judge people and see their negative side? First thing I would say, you know what judgment brings. Don't judge not to be judged. If you are here to advance on the spiritual path, you should know what is helpful on your path and what is not helpful on your path. So the Bhagavad Gita speaks about many things which are helpful for our spiritual growth. And Guruji says many things which are helpful for our spiritual growth. And then there's definitely the things which you should avoid. Yeah? Kama, Krodha, Lobha are the gateways to hell. Desires, anger, greed. Avoid those things. Judgment, avoid those things. So the first thing is, if you know that it's not good in the sense of it is not helpful, if you're, what is good and bad? Who decides what is good and bad? On what you measure what is good and bad? Is there only individual good and bad, or is there an objective good and bad? It's a question to you.
I think it's more individual than...
It's individual, you're saying?
Yes.
And everybody agrees with that?
Yes.
Some things are individual and some are.
Both of them.
Both of them. So give me an example for each of them.
So for me, something can be very bad for me and can be not that bad for her.
Mhm.
But in a society, there is some rules. So if you do something bad, regards the rules of the society, you will be punished, for example.
Okay.
And there is something which is good you do in a society in general, people see like it's in a good way.
Okay, and what about, like, if you have a different society?
Yeah, I'm talking about general, but can be personal.
No, I'm just extending. Like, I understand you made a good point. You say, like, individually, I have certain things which I think they're good, and she might think they're not good. So it's individual. But then we are now here in Portugal, and there's just a general moral code or general ethics or general law which says this is good and this is bad. Yeah?
It can be different in a different country.
So, for example, we have somebody from India here, certain things which you might think is good and bad, they might think that's not good and bad. Like if you check the traffic rules in Portugal and the traffic in India, you will say Portugal traffic is good. And the Indians will say, no, it's very inefficient, it's not good. You should see how Indians drive. Yeah? Every inch is used. Yeah? If you horn in Portugal when somebody doesn't move, it's very rude. If you don't horn in India, that's very bad, because it says even please horn. Yeah? Everywhere it's please horn, like make me aware you were there, so I don't need, because I can't look everywhere, so I use all my senses when I drive, yeah? Yeah? Isn't it? So yes, you're right, good and bad there is, but still there's certain, it's not yet an objective. So on the individual, you have made a good point. On the objective, we haven't yet come there, because if it would be objective, it would be objective for everybody. You made it more than just individual, you made it now labeled on certain societies, certain communities or whatever, certain countries. Is there an objective good and bad or not? Everybody agrees there's an individual good and bad? I'm asking, like,
Yes.
there's no
Yes,
good.
we agree.
And who believes there's an objective good and bad? Lift your hand. Nobody wants to lift their hand anymore because they're afraid I'm asking what it is. Just if you think there is something, even if you don't have the answer, you believe there's an objective good and bad or not?
Yes, there is.
You believe, yes. Who else believes? Lift your hand.
I don't understand what is objective.
Objective means like a general rule which is for everybody.
Oh,
Yeah, that exists.
yes.
Huh?
That exists.
That exists. What would you say that is?
Same as you discussed earlier, the rule of country, the region, every country has their own rule for the society.
Para. Not good.
Individual or no?
Sir? Yeah?
Certain group of people, the certain group of civilization come under the rule which is, set by government for each and everybody, like the Supreme Court law and the legal laws. They are objective laws for everybody.
Objective laws for everybody or for everybody in that country?
Yeah, in that country, in particular region.
So, if my question is now, if you go beyond the country,
Then they change.
so is there something which doesn't change beyond the country? Huh?
Now it's individual, which couldn't change.
Individual rules don't change.
wherever we go, the thing which we set for individual is always individual. It's not like it's different from objective.
Yes, that is clear. Like there's an individual, and we all agree that there is individual truths, individual right and wrong. We are struggling with the objective. You are saying there is an objective, good and bad. An objective means for everybody, something which fits universally for everybody. It doesn't matter if you're Portuguese, if you're Indian, if you're Muslim, if you're Hindu, if you're on the Mars, if you're on the Jupiter, if you are in...
Agora em português.
Huh?
Agora em português.
Por exemplo, se matarmos alguém, é universal para todos.
No?
Não.
Depends. She's saying, for example, if you kill somebody, it's universally bad for everybody. I would say no. There is traditions which, if you leave it on a traditional level, like I would agree, yes, because I believe there is an objective good and bad. But you have to now explain me why that is bad, because there is traditions where that is not bad.
Mesmo matando com má intenção?
Mhm.
Com má intenção.
Matando com intenção.
Well, if suppose malintention, if you say bad intention again, you're saying bad. So what is bad? Bad depends what your rule is. If you, for example, if you are a Muslim, yeah, and you are a fundamentalist and live according to what the Quran says, fundamentalists, not liberals, not, yeah, I'm just saying what the book says, that would say killing an infidel is a good thing. Sorry, I don't want to provoke anybody, yeah, but that's just fact. So if you are believing that, that is good. I wouldn't agree with that, but somebody who believes that system in that way would say it is good, right?
Right.
So, again, we're having a little...
Because these rules are made by humans.
Well, according to your interpretation, my interpretation, but if I would accept, for example, take that example, that would already get you killed, like saying something like that, because that's the whole point of the Quran. It's not made by humans, according to their belief system. So, not to get too much into that area, because I don't want to get across the wrong ideas here. Yeah?
This simple thing. The little one was doing noise.
Yeah.
And you said it's bad. You have to be quiet and don't do noise. It's individual.
It's individual.
But
It's,
everybody here agree that.
well, as I'm invited here and I'm sitting here to speak, and I'm actually given the authority from the hosts of this place to dictate how the things go here, I'm telling you, Raphael, that while I talk, you don't play the drum. So simple. Like the mom says when the rules are there. Like another mom would maybe say, no, it's okay. Yeah? But who's in charge? Right? So, individual right and wrong is there. And individual right and wrong depends on what? Let's just focus on the individual right and wrong before we go to the more objective one. What does right and wrong depend on?
My beliefs.
Sorry?
My beliefs.
Your beliefs? More, give me a little bit more concrete. Education. What do you measure your ideas of good and bad? What do you measure it on?
For our culture. For our culture.
Culture? Yes, and what contains all of those? Your education, your culture. What is actually, if you think of your, don't think abstract, think of your life. There's things which are right for you and there's things which are wrong for you. They are connected with your culture, with your education, with all of those things.
Your conscience.
Your conscience, yes.
And the results. The results of
If you are,
for me,
huh?
the results,
Yeah.
the actions, who I live.
The results in Portuguese?
depende dos resultados. Eu tenho as minhas crenças, correto? E considero bom ou mau dependendo dos resultados que eu acho bom ou mau para
Mas
mim.
ele está a perguntar em que é que mede.
Isso. Bom e mal por mim, good and bad for me, is depending on what? It is depending on what I want.
Yes.
It's depending on what I want. If I'm a thief and I do not care about ethics, to have a companion who outside steals all your money while you're sitting here and I'm keeping you busy and not getting caught is a very good thing. Yeah? Because I just wanna steal. Not that I want, but I'm saying if I'm a thief, that is my goal, therefore that would be something good, right? But if I have certain ethics that I think stealing is something not good, then that would become something bad. So good and bad depends on your goal. What do you actually want in life? What do you want in life? Do you want to become famous, rich, and whatever on any costs? Then you have a society which is like it is nowadays. Yeah? The more clever you are, it's not bad if you trick somebody. The one who got tricked is actually too stupid. It's actually good if you were clever enough. You get the thinking is a different one. The idea of what is good and bad is upside down. But still, it's your good and bad. So it relates to your goal. What is your goal? And what is your goal? Tell me, what do you want in life? That's the biggest problem always. Like this question, this should be like, I remember we were in India with Gurudev in Maharashtra, and some people approached him to get his blessings and asked him for an advice. And they were talking and talking and talking and talking. Good, at just some point he stopped and he was like, what do you want? What do you want in life? What do you aim for? What do you living for? Silence. There was absolute silence. The person just looked at him as he had asked him the 1 million rupee question. Not so much, but never mind. Yeah? What do you want? Do you have a goal?
Yes.
Because if you don't have a goal, where are you going? Like, on Sunday, I have a goal to go to Rome. So I'm flying towards the east. If I want to go to Azores, I would fly towards the west. Yeah? If I want to go to, I don't know, San Sebastian, I would go to north. If I want to go to Lagos, I would go south. Depends where I want to go. Sure, if I want to go to Rome, even if I go west, sooner or later I will reach Rome, probably, if I go all around the earth. But if I don't know where I want to go, then what? Then I'm in life, and when the wind blows left, then I'm falling left, and when the wind blows right, then I'm falling right, and if somebody pushed me over there, then I'm falling over there. I don't know what I want. I don't know where I want to go to. You know where you want to go to? You know what you want in life? You know what is important in your life, or you don't? It's a question. What do you want? Anybody has an idea what they want? Can you give me?
Everybody wanted the same, to be happy. Their way is different.
Well, first tell me what you want, and then we can see if you can speak for everybody here. Because so far everybody has been quiet, so I think it's quite presumptuous to say everybody wants, like, unless you all accept Namreta now as your super consciousness. So what do you want, Namreta?
I know what I want. I want to go. I want to be happy.
You want God, you want to be happy. Okay, well,
About this subject, that
we are speaking, I want the rightness of Krishna.
You want?
The rightness of Krishna.
The righteousness.
truth that when we are moving, we are knowing that we are in truth and we are in conscious that what we are doing is the right, not the wrong.
Very complicated, but yeah, if that makes really sense for you, like
But
not too abstract, like that's not pointing out anything, but I'm just saying, the more concrete your goal is, the more you're gonna go directly to it. If it's like, I want to go somewhere in Europe, I might reach Rome. If I know I want to go to Rome, yeah, maybe it's language, but I'm just encouraging you to think about it. That's not a judgment, and we will come back to your starting point, yeah? Anybody else? What you want? You know what you want, or you don't?
Yes, I know. I want to live according to Guruji's requirements.
You want to live according to Guruji's requirements. Why?
Because I love him and I trust him that whatever will come out of this will be the best for me.
So you actually...
For the evolution of my soul.
Okay, so actually what you would want is you want an evolution of your soul in the best way possible. I'm asking.
Or maybe you can see that I want to really be as Guruji wanted a devotee to be.
Why?
Because I repeat, I trust him.
Yeah.
And I believe he is God, so I want to be how he thinks or how he says we should be.
Okay, and then why do you think he says you how you should be? What does he want for you then?
To go to God, of course.
And would that be so far away from what you said, what you want?
No, but he is more near than the word God that sometimes we don't know exactly.
Sure, but I said to you in conclusion, when you said, I want this, I asked you why. I think it's a good question. The why question is a very good question. Socrates used it. He was just keeping on asking why. And you say, because I love him, I trust him, and when I follow what he says, I will have the best evolution for my soul. So, you do this because you love him, because you trust in him, and because you want also the best evolution of your soul.
Yes.
There's a point, like that's I think a very nice thing, but why?
Because for me it's more, how to say, for me before I had Guruji in my life, I wanted God, but I didn't have like something material in my life that I could call really God. And now I have Guruji, so for me it's not serving him. Why? Because I already found.
Sure.
You know, and this is why I don't go to another idea. So until he shows me something else, I only have him and what he says. This is how I try to live.
Sure, but you said, and I think that is part of the path, you wanna, what is Atma Kriya Yoga?
Yes, I want the realization, of course.
You wanna live you want to live in the consciousness of your Atma, not of your ego identity. So, just like there's nothing, it almost feels like as if you feel bad or guilty to want that. It's okay, I understand that he is the center point and only by his grace you will attain that, but in the end you don't want to be limited by your...
Of course, and it will be a great relief to not have what he exactly said, that you go to some place or even to the temple and your mind is thinking about this and that, on this person, on that.
And that's what I'm saying. Why? What do you want and why do you want it? And if you can say with all your conviction, you for example, I want the best way to evolve to the consciousness of myself, to be the best service to him, to be the best loving him and all those things, then that is your goal.
Yes, I want to be his disciple, but that is so hard. I don't even...
Yeah, but again, what does that mean? You see that are all their sentence. What does that mean to be his disciple?
Of course, it means that you live accordingly and you will attain what he is taking you to attain, that is God.
Surrender.
It's give up about
And why do you want to surrender to him?
Because I want to get rid of my ego and live in another way, in another consciousness.
I understand you, don't think that I don't get you, but do you see how messed up this is partly? Like how confused this is, instead of just saying, like for me, like for you maybe it's not confused, but I am getting confused because if you don't have 100% clear goal,
It's not that I don't have the 100% goal, it's just I'm not focusing on something that I don't know yet. I just know his recommendations, how we should do.
and why does he recommend it?
because he knows the truth.
And what is he saying about if you live like that?
You will be God realized.
What is Krishna saying in the Bhagavad Gita? Like, it's always the same theme, no? We are Arjuna chapter 1, being in the middle of the battlefield. Chapter 1 verse 22, bring this chariot in between the two armies, and now he's looking at the Kaurava army and the Pandavas, and he's like saying, seeing all of them, seeing his good sides, his less good sides, his judgment, his anger, his desires. He's just saying what he's saying. What is he saying? What is Arjuna saying in the end of chapter 1? Huh?
I can do it.
I don't want to
I
fight.
can
Fight? I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight. And what is Krishna saying?
You have to
Do your part.
do that.
You'd say. Take your bow and arrow and fight. So again, one more, please tell me what you want in life.
Guru Bhakti.
Guru Bhakti.
I want to know myself.
You want to know yourself. Okay. So the others, I invite you just to really think what you want in life. Yeah? Because that is very, very important to know what you want in your life. And the more concrete it gets, the better it is. That's why the question why is always good. Why do I want what I want? I had a friend, he's a good businessman, yeah? And I asked him, why are you working so hard? And he said, because I want my business to grow. And I said, why? And he said, because I want to earn a lot of money. I said, why? Because if I earn a lot of money, I can buy the things of this world. What are those things? And he tells me about his holiday, house, all the things what we can have. Sounds familiar? Like, I know we are spiritual, but we also want those things to some extent, no? Or at least we wanted them, I don't know. So in the end he said, everything what he wants is what he can see, smell, taste, hear. The senses want the sense objects. He said, yes, if you want to say it like that. He said, why you want that?
Because you don't have it.
No, he said, I want that because when I have them, that gives me pleasure, that makes me happy. If you have a good cake, it makes you happy. Not for long, but it makes you happy for a moment. Your senses have been satisfied and you are happy. So in the end, he was saying, I want to be happy. Right? And so, even though he has said, I want my company to grow, in the end, what he really wants is to be happy. All of this, all of what we do in life is for what? Why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you living? I guess nobody here wants to be consciously unhappy or miserable. Anybody wants to be consciously unhappy and miserable?
No.
Happy, but not for this happiness that...
Sure.
Like I
What you define as happiness, okay, I agree. But do you want to be happy? If I put rotten food in front of you and the good food, which one you will choose? The good one, because you want to be happy. Because it gives you pleasure, yeah? So, everybody here wants to be happy.
Yes.
if everybody wants to be happy, can you lift your hands just so I got confirmation? Who wants to be happy here? 2 hands. Question now. So, you see we're getting a little bit closer. So far we had many different goals, which are also connected because we are in the spiritual round here, we all devoted of Guruji. So obviously we have a common goal. But now everybody is saying, yes, I want to be happy. So let me ask you one more question. Why do you want to be happy? No, you didn't say you want to be happy. I ask those who want to be happy. Why do you want to be happy? Is that something which you have been programmed? Somebody has taught you when you were a child, you must strive to be happy. Or is it something which naturally you will always look for happiness? What do you think?
It's natural.
It is natural. It is very natural. Anybody here has been told you must look to be happy? I don't know. I'm asking you. I haven't been told that. But my whole life long I always tried to seek fulfillment, happiness. In every way, I didn't always find it, and I looked for it in the wrong places. But I always have looked for that. Definitely. So it doesn't matter if you're Portuguese, Italian, Indian, North Pole, South Pole, black, white, yellow, whatever. Child, old age, everybody to some extent strives for happiness.
And when we see Guruji, is happiness?
Just wait a second. Okay. Can I just ask now, is that something which we can say is maybe something which is objective? If I say black, white, North Pole, South Pole, Indian, Portuguese, European, American, child, thing, every being, every human being wants to be happy, and then of course we have to define happiness, yeah? But everybody is seeking for a well-being, isn't it? Everybody would agree on that? Yes. Is that something then objective?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so if good and bad is connected to your goal, you get where I'm going with this? Yeah. If good and bad is connected to your goal, and your goal is to have well-being, then good and bad is related to how do you obtain well-being. So far, so good?
Yes. Yes.
Everybody wants that. So the example I made about my colleague, which is robbing you right now, outside here, he thinks that when he has your money, he's going to be happy. And he will do it so long till he finds out it hasn't made me happy. He was happy, and then he was unhappy again. And then he will rob somebody else, and he will be happy and unhappy again. You know, Saturday night, you're going to go out, you're going to get drunk, you do some party, you're going to be happy, and you're going to be more unhappy on Sunday morning. Right?
No, on Monday.
Because you keep Saturday, Sunday through. Okay, very well. So, everybody is looking for happiness, fulfillment, well-being. Yeah? Call it as you want. How you find, so this is something objective. Now, how you find happiness, well-being, that is probably so many ideas as there's human beings on this world. Because somebody believes if I get a new house on the beach, I'm going to be happy and fulfilled. Somebody thinks if I'm going to have a child, I'm going to be happy and fulfilled. Somebody thinks if I'm going to have a new partnership, I'm going to be happy and fulfilled. Somebody thinks if I'm going to do, isn't it? Everybody has their idea what is going to make me happy. Right? But everybody wants to be happy, fulfilled, well-being. So now, when I ask the question, why do you want to be happy? If that is something which is in-programmed, that is almost a proof for a spiritual being. What does the Gita say? What does the Master say? Who are you? Who are you? Who are we? Who are we?
Divine.
Huh? Atma. What is Atma? And what is that essence? How is it defined? 3 words. Sat Chit Ananda. Vishwananda says, alright. Right. Sat Chit Ananda. What means Sat Chit Ananda? Sat Chit Ananda. Existence and consciousness of everlasting bliss. That is who we are. We are everlasting bliss. And this bliss is connected with this love. Right? So, there is a general good and bad because everybody wants to attain that state. To be this Sat Chit Ananda. Some come to that conclusion and some need some more time. Because not for nothing, the soul goes through 8.4 million different species, still attains the human body, which has the potential. And again, you go through crores of human lives, millions of human lives, till you awaken this longing. Isn't it?
Yes.
That is what the teaching is, and that is what you can experience. Because how did you come on the spiritual path? Why did something awaken in you? Why did you have a longing? Why did you have this saudade? And why you can talk to somebody about this and somebody is like, oh yeah, well, what you're saying, well, it goes straight to my heart, man. I want to come to the temple, I want to see Gurudeva, I want to get his blessings, And others who do the same thing, and they're like, yeah, whatever. Right? Because there's just it's not yet time. You can put the seed. But the more you go on, life after life, there's only one striving to attain your true identity so that you can be in this everlasting love, relationship and service with the ultimate. That is why we are here if we take what Guruji says, what Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita says. So, if that is the objective, to attain God realization, to attain His lotus feet, to attain your pure state, so that self-realization is not the goal. That is one part of the goal, because only when I'm deprived of egoism, which self-realization is, once you are free or completely from I, mine and me, then only will you be able to fully unconditional love and serve Him. Till then, you will do sadhana bhakti. You will serve and love Him as a practice. Once you have attained self-realization, once you have removed all those layers which make judgments, which have desires, which have all those things, once they are all removed, then you will have Shuddha Bhakti, pure Bhakti. Then you will have pure love and service towards the Lord, because that's just who you are. You are an eternal lover and servant of the Lord. Right? So, if that is the goal, then good and right now becomes a very clear definition. And that clear definition is called Dharma. And that is what actually Hinduism is all about. Sanatana Dharma. What is Sanatana Dharma? What does that mean? Okay? What does mean Sanatana Dharma?
The universal Dharma?
The universal, eternal religion, the universal, eternal truth. And not for the Indians. They are not for some sort of people, for some believers and for some not. They are universal. If there's a Martian being or in another galaxy some beings, if they have any belief system, if they have any religion, then they are Hindus. or Sanatana Dharmis if you want, because Hindu is an invented word. Because the existence of every being is to be the eternal servant and lover of the Lord. We are all Mam Evam Shajiva Aloke, we are all incarnated souls and have been layered with the wrong identity through karma, etc., etc. All of those laws, karma, incarnation of your physical body, Atma, Brahman, samsara, the cycle of reincarnation, moksha, liberation, all of those, they are principles in Sanatana Dharma. And in Sanatana Dharma, one principle is Dharma, the law of Dharma. The law of Dharma, which is described in many ways. If you take the Padma Purana, 12 pillars or 12 examples of Dharma are presented. If you take the Srimad Bhagavatam, how many are presented? 4. When King Parikshit meets the bull and the cow which is ill-treated, and the bull who stands on one leg. You have heard that story? Why he stands on one leg? What is the bull representing in the Srimad Bhagavatam? Dharma. And there is Kali Yuga personified that is about to do what? To take off the last leg. And what is that last leg? No, the last leg is not done. Satyam. Truthfulness. Righteousness. That is the last leg. Before there was other ones. There was austerity, there was dan, there was yajna. And there with every yuga which has been gone, has been removed, and society has just degraded and degraded and degraded. Our consciousness has become more and more clouded. That's why it's so hard to connect with who we truly are, because we have been so much clouded. And if we remove that last leg, then we are completely immersed in the dark age. Then we are completely immersed in Kali Yuga. So there is, therefore, an objective right and wrong. Because Dharma says, if you want to attain your true identity and your love relationship with God, or in other words, if you want to be more loving, less judgmental, more at service, more pure, more an instrument of His love, just all of those things, put it in the words you want. If that is what you want, then there is a certain way of living which will support your goal, and there are certain things which will not support your goal. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, desires, anger, and greed are what? The gateways to hell. They will not help you. So if you have desires, if you have anger issues, if you have greed, if you have those qualities, don't nourish them, because you have the knowledge, this is not good for my goal. You get what I mean? If you don't have that goal, then you might not bother about it. I dare to say everybody has that goal. Some just don't know about it. I dare to say it because he says it, Krishna says it, because of own experience, and because tons of saints and masters which have said all the same thing. So either it is a very good big lie which has been kept over the centuries and millennia through different traditions, or it is actually the truth. And I would say, I go with number 2. It is the truth. So, coming back to your question, what do I do about my judgment? The first question is it something which is good or what is bad? Is it something which is helpful for me or not? And if my answer is therefore no, then I start to watch out for that. I have made for myself a rule. I have made for myself a small formula which helps me because I notice I fall into that trap. That formula is called CCJ. You want to know what CCJ is? It's my version of Karma, Krodha, and Lobha. I take that also. But CCJ is what I have to definitely watch out to avoid. First C stands for comparison. I noticed in my life, whenever I start to compare, it's going to end probably bad. The first C, compare, mostly is followed by the second C, which is criticism. Either to the one I compare with or to myself. Why is Guruji giving that one so much attention? Compare. Look how he behaves. Criticism. Third, J. CCJ. After criticism, mostly it ends up in what? Judgment. And don't judge, not to be judged. Christ has said that. Not just him, all the others have said it. So I know, as much as he speaks about desire, like fire is covered by smoke, like the mirror is covered by dust, like the embryon is covered by the amnion, so this world is covered by desires, or Arjuna. Meaning, we don't see who we truly are, we don't have realization of this love, who we truly are, because of what? Because of our desires. And connected with those desires is comparison, is criticism, is judgment, is anger, is greed, all of those qualities. So I have to know what is dharma and what is adharma. What are the things I want to practice in my life, put into practice in my life, put myself straight again, like pull yourself together. And what do I want to avoid? What do I want to avoid and what do I want to put to practice? And yes, that is going to be continuously, over and over again, Arjuna in chapter 1, standing in the middle of the battlefield, now seeing that you are in the middle of seeing your judgment, seeing your Duryodhana and all the Kauravas over there, and like thinking, it's just overwhelming, I don't want to fight, I'm tired of this. Let me just judge that person, let me just, I don't like you, so, just let it go, just let my anger loose, and just let it flow. That's your choice. But Krishna would say, take your bow and fight, O Arjuna. Hold it together. Yeah, but it's very hard. It's very hard, isn't it? It's very hard sometimes. It's very difficult to overcome yourself. So what does he say about that? As long as you are identified with this body, as long as you are ruled by the gunas, you will always feel up and down, you will always feel happiness and misery. They are transitory, they are not eternal. It's raining, it's not going to rain forever. The sun is going to come out again. What should you do? Endure, O Arjuna. Okay. It's painful, it's in. Just keep going, just keep going, just keep going. Don't give up. Or I'm about to say something bad, I don't want to do it. Just let's go away, bite my tongue. Let's have some cold water. Let's whatever. Let's put myself in the shoes of that person. Let's talk about it if you want. Whatever. Or you can also let it out and have the consequences of it, because the consequence of it will always be suffering. Which, fair enough. Then if you don't want to listen, who doesn't listen will feel. Okay? don't want to listen, he will feel. And Guruji is the master, so he says, if you listen to the instructions, great. If you don't, my servant Maya will take care. So it's a very great servant, it's a very great teacher. Dukh, suffering, it's a very great teacher. Once you're tired of your suffering, you might actually come to a point where you say, enough is enough, now I want to change. Otherwise it's just like, yes, I want to. Yes, I'm trying. Who hears that? Himself saying, yes, I'm trying. Yes, I want to. Anybody here? Yes. You tell it to yourself? Because it's too hard? I can tell you, once I was with Guruji in the car, and there was like, he had me in the grip, like, it was like, I don't know how long it lasted, for months and months and months. He had me like in a process where it was like, I just hold on to chapter 2 verse 14, endure it, Arjuna, endure it, endure it, endure it. Just have to endure it, never let go. That's the main thing, just never let go. Never let go of his feet, it will work out. But he's a master in accelerating the process, make it more strong. And then in the car he was like, you're not yet done with this, let go of this drama and whatever. And I was saying, I'm trying, Guruji, I'm trying so hard. He looked at me, zero compassion. He was just saying, don't try, just do it. Because as long as you say, I try, you're actually believing still more that you are not able to do it. You're believing more in the things why you cannot change it. You're believing more, why should I judge that person? Because I have good reasons to judge that person, because or this situation, or that, or that, or that, or that. You can reason with anybody, anything. You can make anything sound right. Right? But the question is, what is helpful for my goal and what is not helpful for my goal? And as long as you say, I'm trying but I can't, you're actually making yourself weak. But the moment you say, I do it, then you can make the jump. Then it will happen. Then His grace is there. So many times I went to Guruji with some of drama, like he kind of almost extincted the drama. There's still some trace. I have some Italian blood, so I'm also good in drama. Like you're Portuguese, you know how the Indians are, but like these Latin countries, they love it. Like it's like this fire, like drama. But like Swami Aniruddha yesterday said, Guruji hates drama, but he's the greatest drama king. He can make drama in like beyond any Brahma avatar, exactly. Brahma avatar. Yeah? So often when I was in my drama, there was like the moment, go to Guruji, hoping that he is gonna solve it. Best like this, you know, like just simple things. But I'm not going to say it, I'm just going to go there and have a long face, you know, like look a bit upset, and he's going to say, what is it? And I'm going to say, nothing. I say, come on, Ben. Come on. And something inside me is like saying, yeah, give me more attention, more attention, more attention. Right? Because drama is all about that, I want attention. So he's keeping on asking. And when I think, now he really wants to know what's going on. He's desperate to know what my drama is. Now I'm gonna reveal it. my drama. So I'm revealing my drama, and of course I'm going to make the case in such a way that I cannot be the bad guy. I'm going to make it very rationalized why I'm right and that one is wrong. It's not stupid after all, yeah? That's what I think at least. After I revealed my whole drama, he's just looking at me and he's saying, so stupid. Okay. And then it goes on. It goes on with, I can't help you. You are alone. God can't help you. You are alone. You want to be miserable? Be miserable. I cannot help you. God cannot help you. Nobody can help you. You know the Charava Shloka? Mam ekam sharanam braja. You are my only refuge place. Like, what happened with that? Like, I came to you to seek refuge, and you're just basically giving me a big kick. Right? There's one thing I learned from that. You know what I learned? As much as I thought I am down on the bottom, there's always a level which goes below. You can always feel worse than you already feel. And that was going on for so many times till there was, at some point, I was tired of myself, tired of the drama, tired of the suffering which who created that suffering? I. Yes, it is related to people who do ill behave. Yes, that's true. It is related to situations which are not optimal. Yes, it's true, but still, the suffering is not because they did something. It's because I made the drama. I judged. I am thinking. I am egoistic, whatever. That doesn't make that right. Only because I'm wrong doesn't make that right. You get the point? So, the drama, there was the point where I was like, I need to change. So I left. When the drama came up again in front of Guruji, I thought like, no, enough is enough. I'm not going to play this game anymore. And I left the bungalow and I went to my room. Just proper, now I take my bow and fight. Like, it's enough. And Guruji comes after some time. He's like, what is it? In that moment, I was not up for the game anymore. Like, I'm not interested, I'm not asking you for help. I know already, you told me already very clearly, I'm quite messed up. Nobody can help me, you will not help me, God will not help me, Ma will not help me, nobody will help me. But never mind, I will fight, I will go on, I will endure, whatever, yeah? And he kept on asking, what is it? And I said, nothing. I just have realized one thing. I need to change. And I will change. Cost it what it will. I will do my best to change. And it was a conviction, an inner conviction. You should have seen his face. The most sweet, compassionate, loving Gurudeva you can ever imagine. Who looks at you and suddenly says, I will help you. And in that moment, I have realized that the Master, he is truly the Master, because the Master awakens the Master. The outside Master is here to awaken the inner Master. He's not there to feed me fish. No, he's there to show me how to fish myself. I'm not eating fish, I don't know if you get the point, yeah? He is here. If he would have just given me and like, oh yeah, I'll help you in this, what he makes me an addict. He makes me a dependent thing. I need you to overcome. No, he's like saying, come on, don't be so weak. Get into your strength, get into your center, pull yourself together. You are in charge if you want to be in charge. A controlled mind is your best friend, an uncontrolled mind is your worst enemy. Chapter 6, verse 6 of the Bhagavad Gita. put yourself together. And when you put yourself together, Tadhami Buddhi Yoga, I will awaken. I will awaken from within like a blazing fire. Out of compassion for you, I will give you everything. Because I love you more than you could ever imagine. And in that moment I realized, him telling me that he will not help me, that nobody can help me, that I'm alone, was actually the greatest help he could ever give me. Because he pushed me to become stronger. So if you have difficult moments, don't think they're punishments. They're actually grace. They are his gifts. What you make out of it, that depends on your goal. And that depends on your right and wrong. So your question started with, what do you do with judgment? How do you change judgment? How you're not judging? Can you extract something from what you taught about that? Judgment will happen, no matter what. The mind, as long as there's ego and mind, the feelings will be there, desire will be there. If you think you're going to be free of desires, then you're going to be, then that is a desire itself which you're going to be suffering from. You're going to become more and more the observant which sees, look at him, how he's judging again, how my mind is judging. You become the observer, how you judge somebody. That is not the judgment, as if you are in the judgment and like, yeah, definitely, wrong person, wrong behavior. More and more you become distant. Not I am anger, or I'm angry. I can see anger is arising. And now you have the choice to act upon it or not. Because that is going to stay till you are free of this material identification. As long as you are identified by these gunas, by this body, by this mind, that's not going to stop. It's actually going to probably become more tough. Have you ever seen somebody being killed in a movie? Hopefully. Like if somebody is stranded, or put a pillow on top, or put on the water, how do they react?
Fight.
They fight. And the more they stay without air, they fight more or less?
More.
When it comes very close to this final point when you are dead, how is the fight? Strongest or less strong? Huh? Who says less? Who says the strongest? And the others don't have an opinion? Strongest. If your life is threatened, you develop powers which you never even knew. That's your reptile part, which now gets activated. I want to survive, like survival mode. The same happens with your mind. You said, you'd say, let's fight. This is my kingdom. I take over. Let Krishna take over. The mind is not going to say, oh yeah, sure, please take your place. No, the mind is going to say, no. And what are going to arise? All the habits, all the desires, all the poison. Samudra Manthan, no? The churning of the ocean, Kalakutta, Halahalla is going to come out, yeah? And Shiva is going to come and he's going to Om Namah Shivaya. But it's going to come out. If you think it's not going to come out, only because you have done a little bit of spiritual practice, then that is, sadly, it's going to be a desire which will bring you also suffering. So be aware that this mind is going to fight more and the more you advance, the stronger it's gonna fight back. But if you see the stronger fight, again, that is not a bad sign, that's a good sign. Because that means you have become stronger. This self has become stronger. This higher self is now going to become more and more dominant. And therefore, the other part is like saying, I need to pull out every weapon I have. Have you experienced that sometimes you think you have become worse than you were before? Right, it's normal. The question is just with what do you identify? With whom do you identify? Where's your focus on? That's why the main thing is Manmana Bhava Madbhakto Madhyaji Mandlamaskuru. Focus your mind on me, become my devotee. Worship me, bow down to me. Mam evashyasi satyam te pratijane priyosmi. And I guarantee you will come to me. Why? Because I love you more than you would ever imagine. You're dear to me more than you can ever imagine. That is Bhakti. Bhakti Yoga, Bhakti Marga. Focus your mind on Him. Come to the temple. Sing, chant, help each another, support each another. Don't go into judgment. When you see your judgment, okay. Awareness, accept it, and then make your choice. Do I follow it? Or do I see what is actually clean up in here? Sort out in here? Because the outside is only a mirror of what is going on in here. And when we do that, then this is what we said yesterday, this point, one finger showing outward, three fingers showing here. Here you have the power to change. There, not. When you say this one, because of this one, because of the government, because of society, because of her, him, one finger there, three fingers here. Like I said many times, not like the people from Napoli, when I told them, they said, from now on, I'm going to always say because of you. Because of you. It doesn't change, it still stays the same concept. Okay? Okay?
So it's attitude, the mind. We don't.
It's a choice.
Yes, it's a choice. We don't are obliged to believe the mind, follow it.
Krishna says in chapter 3, higher than the material world are the senses. Higher than the senses is the mind. Even higher than the mind is Taranga. What is higher than the mind?
Intellect.
The discrimination. The intellect chooses. You can choose what is right and what is wrong. That's why sharpen this intellect. Give him the right information. What is the right information? Right? That is what Guruji says. Listen to his Satsang. Read the Bhagavad Gita. If you know the right knowledge, then your intellect will be sharp enough, if you train it, that he will control your mind. That when your mind is fighting, you can discriminate. Is that now something I'm going to go for? Is not something I'm not going to go for? Is that something I'm going to act upon? Is not something I'm going to act upon? Is that helpful for my goal, or is that not helpful for my goal? That is the question. That's the simple way of living. First question, who am I? I am an eternal part of God. I am a soul. What do I want? And what do I have to do to get closer to that goal I'm seeking? If that always stays clear, then your life becomes very simple. If that becomes wishy-washy, then you're going to get lost in many things. Because, as I said, you can argue anything. You can argue the most wrong thing and make it right. Because also the intellect is controlled by sattva, rajas, and tamas. By the three modes of nature. So if your intellect is according to sattva, it is pure. And it will function properly. It will discriminate what is right and wrong. If your In Rajas, it will be more egocentric. If it's tamasic, it's going to be all upside down. Wrong becomes right and right becomes wrong.
Now with a concrete example. Sometimes people come to us and maybe talk about Guruji or path. And sometimes we don't know if we should argue with the person or say something or just...
that's a very concrete example now. We're going in a complete different sphere. Like when you just mentioned it, I feel my kroda.
Some people say,
my anger
the
rises.
guru,
It's fine. Like if they say that, then whatever. Then if you're happy, follow what you want. Like Guruji always says, when a dog barks somewhere, when you pass by a gate somewhere and the dog is barking, you're not standing there and barking back to the dog.
Yeah, but we feel compassion for the dog.
Huh?
We
You feel compassion for the dog?
Yeah.
I don't feel compassion for the dog barking all the time. I'm just like thinking, you're great. You're a very compassionate being. I'm probably not, because if the dog barks at me, I don't feel compassionate. Shanti devotee, yes, probably does. If you see, on that level, if somebody insults your Lord, now we have a different, now we're speaking about different level. The Srimad Bhagavatam says, if somebody insults your Lord, the first thing, either you get away before you hear the insult. If you can't get away before you hear the insult, is the camera on?
Yes.
It's going to be controversial. But
because sometimes
the second step would be eliminate the offender. First step, if you can't eliminate him because he's too strong, eliminate yourself. That's the story of Sati, no? When she went to the Daksha Yajna, and Daksha was insulting her lord, she was like destroying herself. And you know what happened with Daksha? So, do not kill anybody, okay? No. Adharma, wrong. But just to get the point, if somebody insults your Lord, you're all, it's of course, you don't need to be friendly with that person. If it's a discussion where you just an exchange of thoughts, that is something else. Because there's different ways of discussing. There's people who ask questions and say things not because they want to know something, they're just doing it for arguing reasons, because they want to insult, because they want to put it down. They not want to have a real discussion and grow. There's no use to talk with those people. It's a waste of spit.
it's going to be worse for them.
It's going to be worse for them and also for you. Because they're going to commit aparat and you're going to be somehow involved in that. Just leave it. Just leave it.
Sometimes we don't have the choice.
May you be happy and go away. We don't have a choice. What do you mean we don't have a choice?
I don't know, the situation happens.
You always have a choice to make a 9. But
Yes, after...
if you know where it's going, if you know the person, then just make a 9. Just to here. If you see there's no point in discussing it. If you see that there is an interest and there's actually an exchange, you can have different opinions. I'm not saying everybody must love my Gurudev. I don't say anybody must have a guru to be fulfilled. I'm saying yes, I believe everybody needs a guru to get to the final destination, because I see it for myself, the scriptures speak about it, my guru says it, and history tells about it, so yes, I believe it. But if you don't believe it, fair enough. Be happy. Like, do I care? That's the beauty of the Hindu tradition. Why do you think in Hinduism there's no missionary work? Sooner or later you're going to figure it out. Like, if not this time, then next time. If not next time, then next time. It's okay. So, be clear whom you get involved with and whom you're not getting involved with. And of course, there again, judgment is, like for example, you're saying that, I feel my krodha rising, I know I better leave, because krodha is not good for me, anger is not good for me, it doesn't do me well. So I better, Haribol. Let's go.
I don't get angry.
You don't, I do.
Yes.
But you get something else. What you get?
You get sad?
No.
Let him, he will find out what he gets.
I don't feel good to hear bad about
Okay.
Guruji.
So you don't feel good, you can't define which feeling it is, it doesn't matter. The fact is you don't feel good. Does not feeling good do you good? No, so better avoid. Avoid that association, avoid those people, avoid those discussions. Or change the theme. Like with my father, I had tons of discussions. Is he a follower of Paramahamsa Vishwananda? No. Does he believe in all what I believe? No. Have we argued and discussed? Yes. Very good, because the discussion helped me to actually become more sharp. When he put like something where I was like not finding the right answer, I found the right answer, was looking for it. It became more sharp. Till there comes the point where we're discussing and he's like, he almost convinced me today. But there's also the point where if you can, we have spoken about a theme, about this path, about Guruji, about belief and whatever, and I have put it in a logical way so that you understand it. I've explained you one time. Next time when we discuss, again you bring the same theme, I explain you the second time. And I explain it the third time. And at some point there's finish, no? At some point it's like, if that's all what you want to discuss with me, like I can record it for you and then you can just play it. Because we just have come to the conclusion, we have different opinions about life, and about God, and about the purpose. Good, I have no problem. Live your life. I live mine. Pray for you. Be happy. Yeah? There's a point where it's just finished. There's the...
Yeah. The people already have an idea about it. Stick to it. It's no use.
What you can take from that is you can deepen your understanding, you can deepen your trust, your confidence, your love, all of those. That is a good sign. That's a good sign.
Actually bring bring me more close to him.
Exactly. So that's the good part. Yeah. Take it. Shanti, 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 Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Hari Om. Satguru Swami Aniruddha Mahaprabhu ki Jai.